Everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have some new fall DIYs to share with you that I think you're really going to enjoy. And I'm also collaborating with Wendy, Emily, and Linda, and I will share their information with you a little bit later in the video. So I hope you stick around and watch it, and then I hope you jump on over and watch theirs as well. So if you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. For this first one, I'm just taking a white pumpkin I got at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just taking the stem off of the top. Then I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to cut the top of this completely off. Just go all the way straight across. Okay, after I got that cut off, I'm going to go ahead and take an X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to cut all the way around in the center to make a little bit of opening. I'm just going to kind of carve this out a little bit. Now, it's not going to go all the way through. This is not a hollow pumpkin, but I am just going to keep scoring it until I can kind of get about maybe a half a cup worth inside scooped out. Then I'm going to take my top, I'm going to trace it out onto a piece of paper. I'm making a pattern because I am going to cut this out of felt so that I can cover up the top opening on the pumpkin where I just cut this off. Just kind of take your time to get this traced out good because you want it to match exact. I'm just pinning it to a piece of felt, a green piece of felt that's similar in color to what I'm painting my pumpkin, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut this shape out. And that way you'll have a nice finished edge on the top part of your pumpkin. You can just fold it in half and cut a half circle around here so you have an opening to put your flowers in. And then that's how that'll look. Okay, then I'm going to take some Waverly Moss chalk paint, and I'm just going to take a sponge brush and I'm going to paint the entire outside of this pumpkin. Now you can paint it any color you want. You can leave it white. I just wanted to kind of distress it up a little bit, and I'll show you how I'm going to decorate it here in a second. And I ended up putting about 2 coats on here. And then on low heat, I'm using an embossing gun to kind of speed up the drying process. Kind of a wood look. I'm going to take some wood stain, and I'm just going to go ahead and take a chip brush, and I'm just going to brush this straight downward. Now you can use an oil-based or water-based wood stain for this. Just kind of make sure that your strokes are going up and down, and then to get into the crevices a little bit, because it was a little bit hard with the chip brush, I'm coming back in with just a regular paintbrush to paint those in. And I'm going to go into each one of the grooves like that. And then I'm going to come back and finish out the rest of the pumpkin with the chip brush. And that'll all get blended in here in a second. I know it looks a little bit dark in those grooves, but you'll see how it blends in here in a little bit. Because this does stay a little bit wet for a while, so you do have a lot of time to work with it. After that's dried, I'm going to mix a little water with some chalk paint, white chalk paint, blend it in real well, and then I'm going to take my chip brush and I'm just going to kind of spatter the paint onto here. And you're not going to do a lot, just kind of get a little bit all the way around so it is a little bit more even around there. And then I'm going to take a sponge brush, I'm going to mix some water with some of the paint, and then I'm going to start smoothing this in. That way you'll still have some spots, and then you'll have some blending. You keep your sponge wet, it works a little bit easier. Attach my felt to my pumpkin. I'm just going to use a thin layer of Mod Podge, and I'm just going to put it all the way around the top. Just a thin layer is all you need. You don't want it oozing out the top part. And then just go ahead and put your felt on there, and then just let it dry. I got these bundles of flowers at Dollar Tree. These are really pretty, and I'm just going to kind of alternating with the orange and then the yellow color, just going all the way around to kind of get it filled in. You get about 6 flowers on each one of these little strands, but honestly, these were really pretty. I didn't do anything to these except use them in my arrangement. And they weren't all wrinkled like some of their flowers are, but just kind of randomly placing them in here. But I am pushing them up there full, and I'm pushing them all the way down to where they're on the very top part of my pumpkin. But you will have to trim them. And I use both bundles on this complete arrangement. Okay, then to separate the colors just a little bit, I just came in here and put a little bit of greenery in here. And that was pretty much it. I think that turned out so pretty. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really like the way this one turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really think that Dollar Tree has kind of kicked it up a notch with their flowers this year because they are super pretty. Today I'm collaborating with my good friends Linda, Emily, and Wendy. Be sure and check out their channel after you watch my video. They've got a lot of good ideas. They're super talented ladies. I think you'll really enjoy their videos, so be sure and check them out. I'll leave the link for the playlist in the description below. This next one is a real quick and easy one. You're just going to take a toilet paper roll and you're going to take some jute string and you're just going to tape it on the inside of both ends. And make it a little bit loose. Then you're going to take your jute and you're going to start wrapping it around your toilet paper roll. You're going to go from one end to the other and back and back and back. You're going to go in 100 loops on this. And this really doesn't take that long. This was a real quick and easy one. And these are actually really good craft fair sellers. You can make a lot of these for very inexpensive. But once you get to this end, go ahead and go back to the opposite end and keep going until you do have 100 loops. And you can use any jute you want to. I'm just using kind of a thin jute. You could actually use the jute from the Dollar Tree as well. Okay, once you get to the end, you go ahead and just cut your string off. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to untape our roll on both ends. And then go ahead and slide all of this off. But make sure you hold your two ends. Okay, then you're just going to tie that together. Now, if any of your loops go over, just go ahead and fix that one. Like I'm going to fix that one right there. Just go ahead and pull it on over. And then go ahead and tie this. Now, you're not going to tie it tight right now. You just want to kind of tie it together. And then we're going to stick a cinnamon stick down in the center for the stem. And just have it sitting down at the bottom. And then go ahead and tie that tight. And then go ahead and cut your excess string off and then just go ahead and start shaping it. So you're just going to kind of pull it around from one side to the other till you have it in a complete circle. Just kind of straighten it out there. Okay, and then trim off any excess string that's hanging over the top edge. I'm just going to glue a little leaf right up to the top edge. All right, look how simple that is, how cute that is. I also made some in orange, and I made some in green, and I'm going to go back and get some burgundy because I think that'd be pretty with this as well. But make plenty of them because they do look good clustered. These are super easy to make. Let me know what you think in the comments. These are great craft fair sellers, and if you want to, you could even starch them. For this one, I'm going to start with 2 of the Dollar Tree bowls, and then I just mixed up a brown colored paint, and I'm going to paint the inside of these. Now, I'm going to decoupage these, so I did want to get a solid color on the inside so that you couldn't see through the napkin once I started decoupaging. So I'm going to go ahead and paint both bowls inside before I glue them together. And I ended up putting about 2 coats of paint on these to get them completely sealed in. Next, I'm just going to go ahead and take some hot glue and go all the way around the edges to glue these together. Now, I'm not going to use E6000 glue because this is going to be completely covered and it's not going to come apart once you finish decoupaging it. Just get enough on there where it's not oozing out, but you get enough on there where it does hold together. And then just kind of line your bowls up and put them together. And then let that dry. I got these napkins on Amazon. I'll give you the link for these. And then I'm just going to go ahead and remove the backing on them. This is just a 2-ply napkin. I'm going to remove the backing piece off of it. And then I'm going to cut them into about 3-inch strips. And I'm going to cut several of them. I think I ended up using 3 napkins on this whole thing. Okay, then once you get all your strips cut, you're just going to go ahead and Mod Podge them. Now go ahead and mix a little bit of water with your Mod Podge to kind of thin it down a little bit. And you can either apply it to the napkin or you can apply it to your project. I started by applying it to the pumpkin itself, and then I decided to come back in and just apply it to the napkin itself because it was a little bit easier to do. and just kind of go into the grooves and get them all sealed in there. And if you get a little wrinkle here and there, don't worry about it. It still looks really, really good once you get finished. But just make sure that you do get it completely glued down. And then I am going to trim the bottom part off here a little bit. I'll just save that for another time. And then use some cellophane. I just wadded up some cellophane to kind of help smooth it out. It keeps it from sticking to your fingers, and then you end up tearing your napkin if you do start using your fingers. So go ahead and use the cellophane to smooth it out. And then alternate a little bit with the way the napkin is. You know, I'm flipping it over one way and then flipping it over the other way as I go down the road. And then I'm just going to kind of speed it up a little bit here so you can kind of still see what I'm doing, but it's going to be a little bit faster. And if you put a little bit of the glue on the sides, on the seams, over the top of them, it does help blend them in a little bit better. And then I figured out after I got about to this point here, when I got my next napkins, I just tore them so it wouldn't be so uniform down the sides. So I would just recommend just kind of tearing them a little bit. And once you get all the way around, if you want to kind of mix it up a little bit, you can just tear shorter sheets of the napkin off and kind of mix it in where you've already Mod Podged. Just kind of go over the top of it. If it looks too uniform for you, you can start inserting other pieces of the napkin just to kind of change it up a little bit. You want to set that aside and let it dry for several hours until it's completely dry. That's drying. I'm going to take some foil and I'm going to make a stem shape with this. Just kind of twist it into the shape of a little hook. And then take a little bit for the bottom just to kind of go around the bottom to make the part that goes over the pumpkin. Just kind of spend a little bit of time working on this part because you do want to make sure that you get this shaped about right. Okay, then I'm just going to set that aside and I'm going to take some brown oven baked clay and I'm going to roll it out thin. Okay, then we're going to start wrapping it. Make sure you keep its shape. You want to make sure the shape stays the same, but you know, tear off pieces of it if you have to. But we're just going to kind of wrap it around and we're going to smooth it out with our fingers here in a little bit. Now, this does not have to be that perfect because you're going to see here in a minute, I am really going to distress this up a lot to make it look more like a stem. But just spend a little bit of time making sure that you get it completely covered and then kind of just smooth it out with your fingers a little bit. And then once I get it around the base, I am going to trim it up a little bit closer to that foil. And now I'm just going to take a stylus and I'm just going to go ahead and just rough it up a little bit. I'm putting little short lines in here, little long lines, and then I'm going to put little dots in here too. Just kind of make it look more like a stem. And you want to do all over. And don't be exactly in the same place. Kind of do diagonals and all that kind of stuff too. But just kind of do small little strokes and then long ones too. Until you get it as distressed as you want. And then I'm putting little dots in it as well just to kind of break it up a little bit. And then you're going to bake this in the oven for 20 minutes at 275 degrees. Okay, to attach the stem to my pumpkin, I'm just going to use some E6000 glue and some hot glue. And I'm just going to put it right in the center. And a lot of you asked me about the thing that's attached to my E6000 glue. That's a little tooth toothpaste holder. I'll give you the link for it. You get them on Amazon. Okay, then to dress it up a little bit, I got these leaves at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to cut the little stems off of them, and I'm just going to glue 3 of these onto this pumpkin. And I'm going over the top part of that stem. And then I got a little bit of a bag of moss. I'm just going to go ahead and start gluing some of this on as well. And I'm going all the way around the stem with this. Okay, then I added a few of these little pine cones that I had. I just have a lot of these little pine cones, and I'm just going to put like 4 of these on here. And you can decorate this up so many different ways. Okay, to give it a little bit of an age look, I'm going to use a dark wax, and I'm just going to do on top of the grooves where they stick out, I'm going to go over each one of those with this. This just kind of blended it in together, made it a little bit more vintage looking, and I think it really did add to it. Just on each of the raised areas, that's where I'm just rubbing that, and I'm just rubbing it with my finger. I really like the way this one turned out. You could use so many different types of napkins to decoupage this with. It'd be pretty even in some blues. Let me know what you think in the comments. For this last one, I'm going to repurpose a piece that I made for 4th of July, and it's a 2 by 2 inch piece of wood, and I'm going to cut it at 9 inches, 7 inches, and 5 inches. Okay, and this is the 4th of July one I did, and I'm just going to paint over it with a pumpkin chalk paint, and it's a Waverly chalk paint. And I'm going to take the stems off of here in a minute too, but cover it up a couple of times just to make sure that you get the stars covered up. This is a great way to repurpose a project that you already did that you might not use again. And it did take about 2 to 3 coats to get this completely covered. To remove the stems, I'm just taking an embossing gun. Just hold it on there until the glue gets tacky, and you can pull that right off of there. Because we're going to put stems on these. And go ahead and get the excess glue off too. If you get it hot enough, you can pull it off pretty easily. I am going to finish painting it because I do want it on top as well. I'm going to add a little wood grain look to it with a wood stain. And this is a water-based wood stain. You can use oil-based, it doesn't matter. But just kind of go up and down with a chip brush. And then it does end up making it look a little bit more like wood. And go ahead and distress the sides as well. And then I'm doing that to all of these. And I'm going to do all the sides and the back. A little bit more age look, I'm coming in with some black chalk paint, and I'm a sponge brush, and I'm just going to go around all the edges. Just kind of roughly do it. And I'm getting a lot of the paint off before I do it. But just go around on every single corner. Okay, after that dried, I just took the word blessed, I cut out with my Cricut, and I'm just attaching it to the first wood block. I got these stems at Hobby Lobby last year, and I'm just going to put a little E6000 and a little hot glue on each one of them, and I'm just going to center them on the top of each one of these. And they had something similar to this at Dollar Tree last year. And I got this little fern at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just cutting a little piece off of for each one of the little pumpkins. Finish these off. I'm just going to add a piece of ribbon to each one of these. It's just a black and white check ribbon. Just going to put one on top of each one of the stems. And that was pretty much it. This was pretty easy. Yeah, I really like the way that one turned out. Just something simple. It's a great way to repurpose something that you've already made. Let me know what you think in the comments today. I really think this turned out pretty. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. And again, don't forget to check out Linda, Emily, and Wendy. I know you'll be happy that you watched their videos. They are super talented, and be sure and let them know that I sent you over.